The West didn't die by murder. Like most societies, it died by suicide.
And Poirot? He will explain.
That is, according to James Burnham. You may remember him from his many books, his work in the early National Review, or from his long-running ABC sitcom. We all know the West is in decline. Burnham says the ideology that's gone along with that decline is liberalism. Liberalism is hard to define, but Burnham tries to do it by quoting the manifestos of self-proclaimed liberals. I'll let you read the quotes in the book, but here are just a few bullet points. And by the end of this video, I think you'll understand why I'm so afraid of liberalism.
I do not know how you say it in English, but in Belgian it is known as la phobie de fagot.
I never heard of that.
First, liberals believe that man is perfectible, that every person is born a blameless blob of pure potential, and that he can achieve total awesomeness under the right conditions. Modern liberals believe man is plastic, moldable. They don't have room for natural or spiritual limits. In liberal land, you can be whatever Gumby character you want to be. Second, they're rationalists. They believe that reason, without appeal to revelation, faith, custom, or intuition, can comprehend the world and solve its problems, which is why they're always crying. Third, since there are no intrinsic limits to man, all his problems are caused either by ignorance or bad surroundings. Natural limits like sex and genetics are really an artificial ceiling on human achievement, and it's the calling of the liberals to remove or compensate for them. Are you a woman? Well, nature has given you this dumb limitation called a womb. Once we unplug that thing, you can reach your full potential by running the Facebook page for a local restaurant. Are you a cartel member? Just hop across our border and you'll become an upstanding citizen, maybe even a god. Since man is perfectible, or at least plastic, liberals are historical optimists. Every problem man has can be solved by education and removing barriers. Once we take care of those things, we'll all live in Rainbow Jetsons world. For liberals, if someone commits a crime, it's because of ignorance or because society has failed them. Whatever we do, we shouldn't blame the criminal. So we stop punishing crime and start trying to rehabilitate criminals. It's not the homeless guy's fault he stabbed that jogger. Just put him in the right environment and he'll become a cross between Nikola Tesla and Mother Teresa. How does that sound, detective?
No.
Not only is nature their enemy, but so is tradition. For them, tradition is just another name for ignorance and oppression. It gets in the way of progress. It ties us to old institutions with outdated ways of thinking. Individual liberals may have some beliefs that contradict these points, but people hold contradictory beliefs all the time. One traditional Christian belief that undermines liberalism is the idea of original sin. Here's Chesterton. The ancient masters of religion began with the fact of sin, a fact as practical as potatoes. Whether or no man could be washed in miraculous waters, there was no doubt at any rate that he wanted washing. But certain religious leaders in London, not mere materialists, have begun in our day not to deny the highly disputable water, but to deny the indisputable dirt. If it's true that man is born in sin and that can only be remedied by Christ, it can't also be true that his only problem is ignorance and a bad environment. After all, who had a better environment than Judas? Burnham says that people reconcile liberalism with the Bible the same way they reconcile the first chapters of Genesis with Darwin. In other words, they don't reconcile them. They replace them. They baptize the secular assumptions in a barrel of Everclear. Burnham wasn't a Christian, but he saw what Christians were doing. This shows up in how lots of Christians argue for free speech. They argue like liberals, which means they argue like relativists. Every voice should be heard, and no idea should be privileged above another. The truth is, people are naturally and spiritually limited in ways that can't just be educated or engineered away. Liberalism is wrong about the problem and wrong about the solution. We've tried liberalism, and it failed. The good news is we might find ourselves in a position to try something else. But the first step for me personally is to drop liberalism. Why?
Because I have an allergy of the fagot.